Court does call the case of People's State of Michigan versus Thomas Styron II.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm confused on behalf of the club.
Sir, state your name, please.
I'm George Styron II.
All right. This date time set for preliminary examination. Mr. Styron, you are here representing yourself. I would indicate to you that there are 3 charges on the complaint in this case. The first charge is that of fleeing a police officer under the Motor Vehicle Code in the 3rd degree. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years and a $1,000 fine plus court cost. Count 2 on the complaint alleges assaulting, resisting, and obstructing a police officer. That is a felony punishable or a high court misdemeanor punishable by up to 2 years incarceration and or a $2,000 fine plus court cost. Count 3 is a charge of driving while license suspended, denied, and or revoked. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine plus court cost. The subject matter of this preliminary examination is for the people to establish by probable cause that the felonies have been committed. If the people do establish that, then you would be what's called bound over to stand trial in the circuit court. You are here appearing without counsel. I would advise you that if you wish to represent or be represented by counsel, you can let the court know, and the court would make sure that counsel would be available to you in this proceeding. I would also indicate that if you are desirous of continuing to represent yourself, you certainly have an absolute constitutional right to do so. You will be held to the same standard that attorneys are held to regarding the court rules, regarding the presentation of evidence, and anything else along those lines, as well as questioning of the witnesses. Do you understand all of that, sir?
I understand everything.
Pardon?
I understand everything.
Okay. And, sir, do you still wish to proceed on record? Do you have any questions before we begin the preliminary examination?
I haven't had a chance to look at the body cam and the evidence. I just got a kite back yesterday telling me I could ask the new staff to be able to view it. I've got maybe 45 minutes or an hour's worth of time in it so far. I'm able to get through the first video.
45 minutes, an hour into what?
I think there's 16 videos on the thumb drive. I think Officer Hooks is an hour and 15 minutes long, and it's what I'm saying is I've had insufficient time and evidence to even review it, to be able to articulate.
Your Honor, I understand that the APA that was present before me had intended to admit that some of the body camera. I will not be using any of it today. I'll be proceeding with just Sergeant Houk's testimony.
I guess and I understand that misuse, and I guess the only question would be if whether or not something contained on the body cam might lead to evidence that the defendant either would want to present or lead to evidence that the defendant may wish to question the deputy on. And I'm going to have no way of knowing that.
I appreciate that, Your Honor, especially because my office previously put on the record, and I'll reiterate today, we do plan on adding additional charges, a count of felonious assault, which is assault with a dangerous weapon against the sergeant, and 2 counts of felony firearm, which are mandatory 2 years in prison. So, Your Honor, I don't have a problem if we need to adjourn this room to have more time with the video. Okay.
All right. And under those circumstances, and I forgot, I think you had mentioned that before, that with that. Okay. So, Mr. Styron, you're requesting an adjournment of the proceedings so you can get through that. Is that okay? How far? I guess I was unclear. You have access to the body cam.
Yes, I do. It's in my property.
Okay. But then you were talking about you got through some of it.
The first video, and I believe it's a YouTube, not YouTube, but a Facebook video of a bystander.
Say that again.
Facebook video that somebody took.
Okay.
And part of his body cam, maybe 20 minutes, half hour's worth.
When you're saying you're talking about
Officer Hooks, yes.
Okay.
I believe his body cam footage is an hour and 15 minutes in its totality. So I've barely been able to scratch the surface of that.
Okay, let me ask you. Go ahead. Were you going to say something else on that?
And like I said, I believe there's 15 or 16 videos in there total. Maybe more, and that's just what I was able to see.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How are you arranging to view that video? Because
Originally, I was kiting everybody I could. I was correctional services, the sergeant, that sergeant. Finally, while down in correctional services, I was able to speak with Sergeant Flint, and he was able to arrange this first meeting. And like I said, I got a kite back from him yesterday telling me just bother the noon staff, and they'll arrange it during the noon shift. So prior to yesterday, I was still asking. I guess I was just asking the wrong shift. I was asking later in the day. That's for certain. And I really was never able to get anything else arranged as far as being able to go and view it.
Okay, so you were trying to do it one way, that wasn't happening. You finally got to Flint, and he indicated to you that it's the noon staff you're supposed to bother to try to. Okay.
Flint's definitely provided direction in regards to how I can go about getting this.
All right. Okay. So we'll need to then adjourn that.